The basilisk resembles a giant reptile. It has scaly body, sharp claws, and a long powerful tail. Its most distinctive feature, however, is its ability to turn enemies to stone with a single glance. Basilisks are known to be aggressive and territorial, and they will attack any creature that enters their domain. They are typically found in remote and rocky areas such as deserts, mountains, and caves. Now that we know a little bit what a basilisk is, let's talk about its features. The Basilisk has 20 movement speed with a dark vision of 60 feet and a passive perception of 9. Now, he's a slow guy, but he gets way better, especially when we talk about his petrifying gaze. If a creature starts to turn within 30 feet of the Basilisk, and the two of them can see each other, the Basilisk can force the creature to make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw, as long as the Basilisk is not incapacitated. On a failed save, the creature magically begins to turn to stone, and is restrained. It must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn. On a success, the effect ends. On a failure, the creature is petrified until freed by the Great Restoration spell or other magic. A creature that isn't surprised can avert its eyes to avoid the saving throw at the start of its turn. If it does so, it can't see the basilisk until the start of its next turn, when it can avert its eyes again. If it looks at the basilisk in the meantime, it must immediately make the save. Now, if the basilisk sees its reflection within 30 feet of itself in a bright light, it mistakes itself for a rival and targets itself with its gaze. Now, looking away will be the recommended action here, unless you want to get rock hard the wrong way, or just bring a mirror and surprise it with some rock hard simulation. Yeah, I went there. I went that low. Next we have its bite attack. A simple melee weapon attack. It's a +5 to hit, and when it does hit, it does 10 or 2d6 piercing damage, plus a 2d6 poison damage on top of that. Now this is a hefty bite. This will definitely leave a mark. I recommend don't get bit. But if you can't avoid it, then have some strong constitution points. If not, you're gonna go down. Terribly so. We covered most of what the Basilisk is, very simple creature. Let's talk about some settings. Here are 3 settings that could work for your world. We first have the Cursed Swamp. A cursed swamp is home to a giant and elusive basilisk. The swamp is said to be cursed, and that those that wander in it stay forever in the form of stone. Adventurers must navigate the murky waters, avoiding dangerous predators and poisonous creatures, and eventually face a basilisk in its lair. If they can't defeat it, they may stop the supposed curse that plagued the swamp for generations. We then have the Haunted Forest. In this setting, the players could stumble upon a basilisk living in a haunted forest. The basilisk is not a natural creature, but rather an undead monster created by dark magic. If the basilisk is slain, it returns after a short period of time. The players will need to uncover the source of the magic that has brought the creature to unlife and find a way to defeat it before it can bring harm to any more living creatures. Lastly, we have the Desert Oasis. In this setting, the players could come across an intelligent and powerful basilisk living in a lush oasis in the middle of a vast desert. The oasis should not exist in such an arid landscape, leading the players to question how it's being sustained. As they explore the oasis, they will discover that the basilisk has been magically sustaining the water and vegetation of the oasis with its powerful time-stopping gaze, and that its presence is the only thing keeping the fragile ecosystem alive. The players will need to decide whether to risk fighting the basilisk and potentially dooming the oasis, or finding a way to negotiate with the creature and stop the oasis from being destroyed. Now that's all we have here for settings, so let's talk about some strategy. The Basilisk's primary strategy in combat is to use its petrifying gaze to turn its enemies to stone. It will attempt to make eye contact with as many foes as possible, using its movement and terrain to position itself to maximize the effect of its gaze. While its opponents are immobilized, the Basilisk will attack with its powerful jaws and claws, attempting to finish off any remaining foes. It may also use its tail to knock enemies prone and give it an advantage in combat. Of course, these features are not added to the creature, so I do suggest to add them to give it a little bit more of an oomph in combat. Now, if you really want to make the Basilisk more dangerous and unpredictable in combat, it can be given the ability to camouflage itself and its surroundings, similar to that of a chameleon. This would allow the creature to surprise its enemies and launch sudden attacks, catching them off guard. The Basilisk could also use its camouflage to blend with its environment, making it more difficult for enemies to spot it and avoid its gaze. Additionally, the Basilisk could have the ability to regrow any limb or body parts that have been severed in combat, giving them greater ability to withstand damage and continue fighting. And this would translate to the regeneration factor or ability feature within the D&D world. Now, that's all we have for today's video, so please like, follow, and subscribe. Tell me about your favorite encounter with a Basilisk in the comment section below. Peace.